So this one we get a little hotter. This is called Pain is Good.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Pain is good. Okay.
Flavor profile changes very quickly.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Yep, that amped up a little bit.
There you go. And it immediately lets you know.
Yes, it does.
Hi, my name is David Voorhees. I'm the host of Running Hot, the business and insurance podcast. Today, special guest Dan Meers. Most of you probably don't know his full name if you know him, as most of Kansas Cityans do, and folks from the NFL, and we'll talk a little bit more about his career, but also Casey Wolf. So that was a career path of yours, so welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here. Yeah, kind of a strange career path, but that's what I did.
Absolutely. Probably went to school to be.
I did.
Yes.
I don't think that's what my parents sent me to school to become, but that's what ended up turning out.
Absolutely. So. All right. So we have 6 sauces. Famously, the first 5 are for you, and then the 6th one's for us because we get to watch your reaction.
Okay.
But assuming you get through all 6, we donate $1,000 to the charity of your choice. Do you have one picked out?
I do.
Well, tell us a little bit about it.
Shelter KC. It's a homeless shelter downtown Kansas City. I've worked with them for probably 15 years, and they just do great work helping out people that are less fortunate in the community, and so love them.
That's awesome. Well, we were talking before we started shooting, and no one's ever not made it to the 6th sauce, so I'm sure they will appreciate the contribution. So let's get started. We're going to start on that side, so I'll let you grab the first one. I believe this is Bravado Spice Company, creamy herb and jalapeno. Good stuff. So shake it up a little bit.
Sounds good.
Some people will then mix them together if you really want to be brave at the end.
Okay.
We've had all sorts of folks on the show doing all sorts of different things. So we're excited to get into this. Put that back over there. I'll get the first wing, and we'll get started. All right, Dan. So you didn't start out as Casey Wolf. I believe you started out at the University of Missouri, and you were Truman the Tiger. Is that right?
Truman the Tiger.
Okay, so how did you have the idea or the thought to go try out to be Truman?
So I'm not too hot yet.
Okay.
So I was reading the school newspaper one day. There's an article that said they're going to have tryouts to be Truman the Tiger. I thought, well, that sounds kind of interesting. So went to this informational meeting, and my best buddy at the time's like, man, you should do that. And of course, if your buddy thinks it's a good idea, got to be a great idea.
Like spicy foods, your buddy thinks it's a good idea.
So I tried out. Sure enough, I get the job for 4 years. I run around in a tiger suit doing baseball, basketball, football, volleyball, just all kinds of different sports. A lot of community events. And then they actually have college mascot competitions. So I started to compete in these things. I was a broadcast journalism major. So even though I don't know that I was a great mascot, for these competitions, you would shoot video, send in a highlight video. And I was pretty good at editing. So I could make myself look good with the little bit of coverage I had. So I competed in these competitions in 1988, I took second in the nation, lost to Buzz the Yellow Jacket from Georgia Tech. So Tiger loses to a bumblebee, basically. 89, I took first in the nation, beat Zippy the Kangaroo out of Akron University in Ohio. And then in 1990, I took second. I lost to the Buffalo out of Marshall University in West Virginia. So I graduate. I've got a mascot resume, a human resume. Apparently the mascot resume looked better than the human resume. And so here I am.
There you go. Well, listen, as a KU alum, I'm always going to tell you the Jayhawk's better than the Tiger. But that's really cool that you go and try out. There's competition, and you were the best mascot in the country. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you are Truman the Tiger, and then you go to the Cardinals. Is that right?
I did.
Okay, and that was just a natural evolution. You said, I've got a career path. I'm going to stick with it.
Well, I graduated and I grew up in St. Charles, Missouri,
Okay.
just outside of St. Louis. And so I got the opportunity to work as Fred Bird for the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team. And I was doing that. But if you know, in professional baseball, they play 81 home games during the summer. Professional football, we played 10 during the fall and the winter. Now, so when I was in St. Louis working for the Cardinals, I get a call from the Chiefs to see if I would be interested in this new position, Casey Wolf. And I thought, well, I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but even I knew that was a good switch to make from baseball to football. So moved to Kansas City, and I have zero regrets. I've loved it in Kansas City.
Well, obviously Kansas City has loved you, so we appreciate all the moments and the silliness and the, getting out on the four-wheeler and going, I don't know if he's supposed to do that. Is he okay? He's laying down for a little bit longer than we normally see him. Do we need to let somebody know?
That's the same thing I was thinking. I'm like, should I have done that? I don't know if that was a good idea or not.
So did the suit provide you any extra cushion or?
Maybe a little bit,
Yeah.
but there's hula hoops in the belly.
Okay.
So sometimes that would belly flop, and if you would land on one of the hoops, it would leave a bruise. So
Wow. Okay.
So anyway, yeah.
Well, the audience got probably like 4 extra questions, but we were having a good conversation about that. So let's get on to question 2. This one is from the Hot Ones pack. So Hot Ones sells a pack, and one of our guests sent us the whole sauce mix, and this is, I think, Los Calientes, which is another really good sauce.
Good luck.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Oh, sweet heat.
I like this one too.
You spent a lot of time with the Chiefs. Now, have you retired now from KC Wolf?
I am semi-retired.
Okay.
So I am now a backup. So last year I became a grandpa.
Congratulations.
Twice.
Oh, boy.
So I told the Chiefs, I'm a full-time mascot, part-time grandpa. After 35 years, I'm like, it's probably time. I don't think I want to be a full-time grandpa, part-time mascot. So they were great, and I love the Kansas City Chiefs, love the organization, and they've allowed me to do that. So I still get to go have fun in a costume. I don't do it near as much as I used to, but I also don't have to do the emails, the phone calls, scheduling. Somebody else does that. Now I just put on a costume, go do an appearance, come home, shower, and call it a day.
Call it a day. So, I'm biased, obviously, but I think in Kansas City we're just incredibly lucky to have the Chiefs and the organization and the Hunt family. Mm-hmm. And so, when you think about how you've been involved in the community, what would you say is, maybe you can't pick one, but what are your most favorite things to do when you are KC Wolf?
The games are always fun. I mean, if you go to a Chiefs game, it's almost impossible not to have a good time at a Chiefs game. But the most rewarding thing that I would do are just the charity events out there. I mean, so many great people doing great things in the Kansas City area. And that's what I love about this town. It's just a great town to live in, great town to raise a family in, and yeah. And then what I loved about the Chiefs is they were always just so supportive of so much stuff that goes on in the community. And a lot of times people, I don't even think they know all the things that the Chiefs are involved with. But trust me, I got to see them, and that's what I loved about, the Hunt family and just the whole organization. Just very supportive of people in the community and very supportive of what I did.
Are you ever surprised with how children respond to KC Wolf, just the larger than life, like I get to meet KC Wolf?
Yes, I also meet the kids that are terrified of KC Wolf as soon as the 7-foot wolf walks in the door. So yeah, I see both ends, those ones that are kicking and screaming, just thinking I'm about to that big bad wolf
Right,
story
the
gave
Huff
me
and
a
Puff.
bad image
Yeah.
right off the get-go. But no, it's been fun because I've spoken at so many elementary schools and just got to hang out with kids for 35 years. It's kind of fun for me now because I'll have people come up to me. It'll be a guy, he's got a beard down to here, he's got a kid in both arms, and he'll be like, yeah, you spoke at my third grade class. And I'm
So
like,
cool.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Yeah, so
Must
cool.
be getting older. So.
Well, I think it comes for us all, right?
Yes.
Age. All right. Well, let's get into number 3. Another hot ones, tropical amarillo. I think this might be a new one, so I'm excited about this.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Let's get this going. Oh,
That's what I get for letting you shake it.
No
Come
kidding.
on, use some muscle.
Yeah, no joke. Well, not all of us carry around a wolf costume. Oh, that's good.
What was that one called?
Tropical Amarillo, sweet Scotch
Notice
bonnet.
that number keeps going up.
Yeah,
Heat level.
everybody gets to see the larger-than-life personality, the fun wolf. But maybe talk about some of the challenges that you had to overcome while you were operating inside a KC Wolf, or just anything in general that maybe the public didn't get to see, but you certainly had to overcome to be the best version of KC Wolf.
Yeah, I think one of the things I think most people don't realize is that you've got to keep yourself in shape to do the job. So if you let yourself get out of shape and then you throw 35 pounds of fur on your body and go dance around for a preseason football game in 90-degree heat, it'll wear you out. So I did a lot of conditioning to stay in shape, and then it's just like everything in life. I tell people life's a contact sport. There's going to be challenges, adversities, disappointments, failures, but it's what you do with that. And so, but yeah, we've had the first 29 years I worked for the Kansas City Chiefs, I didn't go to any Super Bowls. And so I'm like, well, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. And then I finished up, I've been to 5 out of the last 7. Went to 5 out of 6, as you know, and I wish we would have won all of them.
Of course.
3 out of the 5, but yeah, it was just a great experience. I'm glad I stuck with it. But yeah, there's just I think a lot of people know my story about getting hurt in 2013, doing a little bungee jump at Arrowhead that didn't go so well, and spent 9 days in the hospital and 6 months off work, and so. That was a challenging time, but yeah, during that 6-month period, did a lot of worked really hard to get back into shape, doing therapy and rehab, and then during that time, I also wrote a book, and I tell people the best thing about writing a book is people think you're smarter than you really are, and so I've just got countless stories of being a mascot, and so. I would just put those stories on paper, and then I've got a really good editor that she could go through and throw in a comma and a semicolon and those things.
An M dash or all those other fun
things. Make sure my words were spelled correctly, but I go out and I do a lot of speaking now. All the money we make off our book sales we give to charity, so it goes to food banks, homeless shelters, orphanages around the world. And so, like I said, that's been the rewarding part of the job. And it's just, I probably would have never wrote the book if I would have never got hurt. And because I was just so busy trying to keep up with appearances and being a dad and a husband. And so had time to write the book. And since then, I've written a second book.
I was going to say, you have 2 books.
Yeah,
Don't sell yourself short.
Well, I wrote the first. I'm like, I ain't never doing that again. That was way too much work. I'll never say that, because next thing you know, I'm writing a second book.
That's awesome. So, today is the first time we've met. Mm-hmm. You have gone no more than 3 seconds without a smile on your face.
Well,
and not because I'm funny, because I think that that's just your personality. And I was in a terrible car accident. I spent 3 days in the hospital, 2 of those in a coma, and I had to reteach myself how to walk and talk, and so you know this through going through physical therapy and stuff like that, is oftentimes the difference between a successful recovery and an unsuccessful recovery is how you approach it.
Yep.
Because it's easy to get down on the things that are different after an accident.
Mm-hmm.
And if you spend time focused on that, it's really easy to get disenfranchised and sad. But on the other side, you can talk about the gift that you've been given, the second opportunity that you have. And while things might be different, you still have an opportunity to be here.
Yep.
And I can sense that from you, is just you walk with an air of positivity. And I've noticed that just in the 45 minutes we've been talking.
Well, thank you, because it's there's been challenges for sure, and it's one of those things. I think a lot of people know that Chiefs went to 3 Super Bowls in a row, 57, 58, 59. You would think those would be 3 of the best years of my life, and honestly, it was not even close. Because if people know anything about my story, shortly after Super Bowl 57. My wife was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she had surgery, and then for over a year went through chemo and just treatments. And in August of 24, we thought she was cancer free, and so we had a vacation planned, a party planned for her. We ended up having to cancel those because she started to feel bad again. So once again, back to the hospital to run more tests. Her blood counts were just going crazy. And we found out she had acute myeloid leukemia. So once again, back into the hospital, back on chemotherapy, and trying to get her cancer into remission. And then on December the 31st of 24, so about a year and almost a year and a half now, she had a bone marrow transplant at KU Med, great hospital. And if you know anything about leukemia, the first 100 days are the most critical. She got to day 60 and we found out her cancer had come back again. So we made a trip down to MD Anderson Cancer Hospital down in Houston, see if there were any other treatment options. And they basically were there 2 weeks. Then we got more discouraging news. They sent her home on hospice. And then May the 31st of this past year, so almost a year now, I tell people why she left me to go be with the only person she ever loved more than me. That's Jesus. Went home to be with him, where I know she's not suffering, and I know that I will see her again at some point. And I tell people that, not looking for sympathy. I'll tell you the greatest lesson I learned during that 3-year period that we were on that cancer journey is there were many days I woke up feeling helpless to do anything about her situation. I said helpless, I didn't say hopeless, because I tell folks if you got faith, you got hope. You cannot separate faith and hope. So I didn't say hopeless, I said helpless. I couldn't fix it. I could, as much as I wanted to, I could love my wife, care for her, pray for her, do my best to keep her encouraged, but I couldn't fix it. And so there were many days I'd wake up with this heavy feeling, and on my way past my dresser, I always kind of pictured I had 2 bags that sat there. Had my bag of burdens, I had my bag of blessings, and every day I got to choose which one I was going to pick up. And what I discovered is that I'd wake up in the morning, the bag of burdens looked huge, and that's a heavy bag to carry in life. But when I was intentional, when I'd pause, I'd look closer, the bag of blessings was always bigger than the bag of burdens, and a lot easier to carry through life. And as you can see, we're coming up on the year mark. I am still trying to learn how to hold gratitude and grief at the same time. That's a hard lesson to learn if you've been through it. But as you know, you go through tough times, it focuses you in a hurry. What's important, what's not important. So many of the things that I used to think were just so important, not so important. But it's helped to focus my life, and I want to use the days I get left to make an impact. That's why I'm here. It's not just for the hot wings. I'm here knowing that I can raise money for Shelter KC and hopefully touch some lives. And yeah, just reminded this past year, month after my wife passed away, my dad passed away. Oh. And it was this past year, it's just been incredibly challenging. My dad was my hero. He's the guy that today would have been his 87th birthday, actually. But he was the guy that he modeled it. But there's a big difference between being a male and being a man. There's a bigger difference between being a man and being a godly man. And he set a great example for me. And so, yeah, I didn't expect to come and cry. I thought I might be crying after I ate bottle 6. But yeah, like I said, you go through tough times. It'll focus on what's important, what's not important. And I wouldn't want to go through it again, but I am thankful for the lessons I've learned along the way.
Well, thank you for sharing a special story. I mean, that's a lot, and I think it lends to what I was sharing, as I can tell that you maintain positivity and outlook in life is so critical, because there are so many things in life that are negative. That bag of burdens, and it's really easy to get stuck there. But it helps you focus if you focus on your blessings, the things that are there, the people that are truly in your life to help lift you up. Because there's lots of people that don't want to see you succeed. So my entire family has been riddled with cancer. It's taken a few of folks that are near to me, most specifically my grandmother, but my mother and aunt have both beaten back cancer. And I had a bracelet, and it says "Cancer Sucks." And I was flying home from Dallas, and this woman was sitting next to me, and she asked me about my bracelet. And so I shared with her, and then she told me her whole story. And I took my bracelet off, and I handed it to her, and I said, "Thank you for sharing your story." So I reached out to this business and said, "I want to buy 1,000 of these, because anybody who tells me their story gets the bracelet off my wrist." So you didn't intend to, but thank you for sharing the story.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
So let's get into the next
other side of the Kleenex box.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So now the crying might actually be related to the heat.
Right. Here we go. I'll get ready.
A full emotional roller coaster for you today. So this one we get a little hotter. This is called "Pain is Good."
Great. Pain is good. Okay.
Flavor profile changes very quickly.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Yep, that amped up a little bit.
There you go. And it immediately lets you know.
Yes, it does.
But again, I think very good. Whether you know this or not, but hot sauce also does release positive endorphins. So you do get a lift in how things are going while you put yourself through this or subject yourself to this.
I'll start eating this for breakfast on my down days.
You'll trust me. It will wake you up, and it does bring you a little bit of happiness.
Got to be better than a cold shower.
Yes, definitely. Now, after a 3-hour football game in the heat, I don't recommend adding more heat to it.
Right.
And before I pivot, I'll stay with the Chiefs for a second. This is really just bonus, more of a conversation. How lucky are we to have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and some of the other guys that, buy in? I think, Kansas Cityans, luckily enough, I am a New York sports fan. I'm a Yankees fan or Knicks fan, but a diehard Chiefs fan. But the biggest difference between the fan bases are you mess up even a little bit in New York, and they're ready to write you off. But I think a lot of people in Kansas City have been spoiled to see this decade of dominance.
Right.
And we can't muster the effort to get through last season with all the parts. It's like, these guys are tired. I'm not saying that they're fatigued. I'm saying that, to stay at the upper echelon for that many years is nothing short of incredible. Yep. So let's pivot. When we were talking earlier before, and you mentioned, you were a full-time KC Wolf and a part-time grandpa, and now I want to be a full-time grandpa and a part-time KC Wolf. So how's the transition to being a grandparent?
I love it. Absolutely love it. So they're just, I got two granddaughters.
Okay.
One that is, and they're within 6 months of each other. And I know every grandparent says this, but I don't know how you can be that cute 24/7 without even trying. And so they're just fun to be with. It's fun to watch your kids parent, and you just get to kick back and and smile.
There's that smile again, right? That's fantastic. So have you transitioned to the person that lets them get away with highway robbery and not hold them accountable for any things you held your kids accountable for? Are you there yet?
I'm trying not to. But
Okay.
It is fun. So my oldest daughter, she was very, very cautious, and married a guy that, from what I understand, was cautious growing up too. Their little girl is nothing like that. She has got mascot potential.
Oh, there we go.
She is just Captain Chaos, and she's just ready for a good time.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's been a whole lot of fun.
Getting older is a blessing for the wisdom, but your body doesn't,
Yes.
React the same way it used to. But I find that wisdom, I laugh a lot about it, as I think about before we had our child. I didn't think having a child would change the stitching of life that much. I mean, I knew it was going to be special,
Right.
but I didn't realize the impact it has on you, the focus it takes, like the absolute joy in sometimes the terror. But I will tell you the one thing that I knew was going to happen, but I didn't. My mother was an incredibly firm parent. She did not let me get away with anything. She taught me to respect people, most of all women. But she took zero, pardon my French, shit from me. And I was a little hellion.
Right.
I pushed the envelope. Anybody that knows me knows that, that's my personality.
Right.
When we had our son, I figured there would be some firmness that she would appreciate as a parent. I think I have a little bit more warmth and empathy than she did. Right. But I do have the firm teachings that she taught me, because I think structure is important for children. Right. No. She has none of that as a grandparent. Oh, David, you're being too hard on him. I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you kidding me? I mean, I spent days in my room. I mean, there was no 5 minutes of punishment. It was days. Oh, David, he can eat more chocolate. No, there's guidelines. And I'm just bragging, this is not you, Mom. So anyway, I always ask folks that are grandparents, like, So do you parent and grandparent very similarly, or have you fully just said?
I'm just sitting back watching at this point. But no, I think the grandparenting is definitely more fun.
I'm sure.
And it's funny, I did a Casey Wolf appearance at a nursing home probably 10 years ago. And I met these two ladies who were there at the home. They were both 102 years old. And so after I was done with the appearance, I went back and I was just sitting and talking to these ladies, and they found out I was a parent. So I still remember this. The one lady's like, "Hey, I've got some advice for you." Well, if you're 102 and you've raised kids, I'm all ears. I'll listen to whatever you got to say. So she gave me her two pieces of parenting advice. The first one made me laugh. She said, "Never forget kids are like canoes. They work better if you paddle them from behind," which is exactly what my parents thought. And then her second one was the one that made me think. She said, "Always remember, one day your kids will follow your example, not your advice." And I try to keep that one in mind too, that how you live and what your kids see. I think that's the best thing you can do as an dad, is just set a good example.
Absolutely. I always tell my son, my job is to lead by example. Mm-hmm. I try to live by my words, but at the end of the day, you're going to watch me more than you listen to me. And so I think there's a lot of value in people understanding that you as a man, you as a father, you as a grandparent, you as a personality that's in the community, there's a responsibility to lead by example and demonstrate that so other people can follow it. So.
Yeah. The thing I tell myself, or always try to remind myself, is I'm not here to impress people. Right. I'm here to impact people. If I'm trying to impress people, I'm doing this for the wrong reason. Yeah. If I'm here to impact people, well, I think that's pretty good reason to be doing it.
Absolutely. So. Okay, well, I let you settle a little bit before we got
Okay.
So this is the bomb. This is real.
Okay, good.
This will wake your senses up.
That was great.
Now, I would tell you, don't go heavy on the the
Got
dot.
it on the bottom. Got it.
You can see I just did a little splash. And that's more than enough right there.
Got it. Okay, getting my milk ready. Is that what you're telling me?
If you need the heat protection, yeah, that's going to help you. So
Okay.
we'll do a little dip,
Okay, how big a dip you doing there?
and then you
Okay, here we go.
take flight. We've ascended
Yeah.
to some pretty high areas. Again, I do this pretty regularly, so it's not very hot to me. Very good though. So when you think about hanging it up, eventually one day you'll say, I'm going to step out of the part-time role. When you look back, what are going to be the top 2, top 3 things that you go, that ride was awesome? And here are the 3 things that I really felt like I nailed it.
Right. You know what? My time in Kansas City, and I'm not just saying this, but has been awesome. I love my time in St. Louis. I grew up Cardinals fan.
Right. St. Charles.
So,
yeah.
St. Charles. So grew up there. So it was fun to get to mascot for the hometown team that I grew up cheering for. But my time in Kansas City, I remember when I was thinking about making that switch from St. Louis to Kansas City, I'd prayed about it. All my comfort zone was back in St. Louis. All my family lives there, everything. And I just really felt like I should be in Kansas City. So I came here, and like I said, I have zero regrets. It has been just fantastic. I worked hard, but at the end of the day, I also had a lot of people that were there supporting me, the Hunt family, and they just allowed me to take that costume. And I have literally traveled all over the world I've been to India, Africa, Honduras, the Philippines, just all over the place, and just visiting orphanages. And some of these places I go to in Africa, they don't have a clue as to who Casey Wolf is. You say football, they think soccer. And so, but it was just, a guy shows up in an orphanage out in the middle of Tanzania, and the kids are like, that's not something you see every day in Africa, right. This guy running around in a wolf outfit. But it's just so rewarding to be able to go visit the kids, and then at the same time be able to send financial support just from book sales. And, whenever I speak at these conferences, I sell books, and then we give that money away to all these different places. So that's been the rewarding part of the
Absolutely.
job.
That's
so,
awesome.
Big believer that God didn't put us on earth to make a living. He put us here to make an impact. And so that's what I've been trying to do. Man, that must be hot.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think that's one of those payoffs that if you can look fondly of it, you find the lesson.
Yeah.
If you look hard enough, you can always find the lesson.
Yes.
You may not have asked for that lesson.
Right.
But there's a reason for it.
Exactly.
All right, so this is the last one. I'm going to shake it, and
It
then I'm
says
going to
Death Nectar on the side.
That's from Grinders. It's
Okay.
local. That's
Woo,
local.
right.
A lot of these are. We are lucky to have Spice and Foods in our backyard. And they make many of the spices that or the sauces that are on hot ones, and we've been in. That's a new bottle because we've exhausted the first bottle through. How many shows have we done? 24. So this is 25. So it took about 24. Here, be careful popping that off because I don't want it to pop in your face.
You and me both.
Yeah. So now be gentle. No more than what we did on the last one.
Okay, got it. So,
There you
that's
go.
way too much.
Don't put it. Don't marinate it.
Trust me, I will not be marinating it after that.
Now we're at 350,000 Scoville.
What were we on that?
150.
150. We're going to 350.
Going to 350.
Okay, so we're doubling.
Yeah.
And then some. Okay.
So you just put a little dab on there.
Yeah, that looked like a good sized dab to me. Okay.
This is a slow burner. It'll hit you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I like to do?
I can do that. Is that legal?
Well, we want to add all of it together. After you take the first one, this is going to make it hot.
Okay.
See, I told you it's not as much as 4 to 5 as it is to 5 to 6, but you'll start to feel it. It's a good sauce. It's a good sauce. So if you think to your 30-year-old self, what is one piece of advice, or two if you have it, one piece of advice that you would give your 30-year-old self that you, who you are today, would say, you could have done that? And we're not live, so if you need to think, you can.
My 30-year-old self, I would tell myself a couple things. Don't sweat the small stuff. I've learned that over the years. And as we say, most of it is small stuff. So I wish I would have known at age 30. And I had this quote on my desk at Arrowhead. And it said that the urgent things in life are seldom important. The important things are seldom urgent. And just learning to live life for the important things and not always the urgent things. Because I think in our society, and it was this way, I'm sure it's in your business too, but even in being a mascot in the NFL, football season, I don't think people realize just how crazy busy the fall is. I mean, I could just be doing appearances constantly. And so, but I always had to remind myself that that's why I kept it on my desk, to remind myself the important things are seldom urgent, the urgent things are seldom important. And the important things in my life, like I tell people, for me, it's my faith, my family, and then just using my time on this earth to make a positive impact in the lives of others. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about,
Yeah, it's
love God, love people. It's that simple for me. Each morning I wake up, okay, love God, love people. If I go to bed at the end of the night or at the end of the day thinking, okay, I did both of those, well,
good day.
Good day.
Yes, sir. So, Dan Meers, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you.
Author, father, husband, grandpa now.
Yep.
Of course, Casey Wolf. Been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.